So I have a pretty short one today. This was a request by somebody who wanted to know, how would you paint the mountainscape of something like the Smoky Mountains? Well, it just happens that I have a bunch of photographs I took in the Smoky Mountains because I've been there numerous times. I have probably a million stories of the area and love the area. And one of the things about the area is it's so lush and so many trees and so many distant hills, and the whole idea that it's called the Smoky Mountains and lives up to its name because it has this smoky atmosphere. It's not smoke, but it's like clouds and fog and mist, and early in the morning it's got this beautiful feeling. And if you've ever driven down the Blue Ridge Parkway, it is just a beautiful place. Or if you've camped up there, or if you've just been there, there are so many things that are, I guess you would say, touristy, but the biggest attraction is the area itself. Just a beautiful area. It's similar to in Florida, not that it looks similar, but in Florida, like, we have all these attractions, Disney and Universal, etc. But the real biggest attraction is the landscape, the beaches in Florida's case. In the Smoky Mountains case, it's the mountains, it's the air, it's those trees. So to capture that, not recapture, but to capture that, or at least attempt to, with watercolor, I want to show you how I created this landscape of a scene from the Smoky Mountains. And I used watercolor for this. Didn't take that long, and you should be able to replicate it if you are interested in doing that. Again, I don't encourage necessarily for you to do exactly like I'm doing. This is really not me being a teacher, it's just me being a friend and me being a fellow artist, because I know 99% of you are artists, I guess. Seems like it anyway. So you all have your own beautiful skills and your own beautiful artwork. And by the way, don't forget, I have a Facebook page, the Poppa Paints Facebook page. It's Poppa Paints. I think it's at Poppa Paints here. I think that's the whole thing, because there is another Poppa Paints, which I didn't know. And it's a young lady who does face painting. So, but I didn't mean to steal her name, but I guess I was using her name without knowing it. But anyway, she's beautiful too. And so anyway, go to Poppa Paints, and it's Poppa Paints, The Art of Larry Whitler, which is my real name, by the way. All right, let's show you how I did this and how it took very little time to do it, and we'll do that right now. Okay, this is going to be a very simple one. I've had some requests for simple landscapes done with watercolor. So this is a place in the Smoky Mountains, and as you know, in the Smoky Mountains, they have a lot of smoky landscapes. So I'm going to try to recreate some of that a little bit on this card here, and I'm going to use just a little hint of gray. Maybe it's a gray, cloudy sky. Just let that water take it and spread it around. A tiny bit of blue there. Let's see if we get some blue into the mix. And it's okay to let that water soak into the paper. Just let that happen like that. Get some of that. We don't want any defined lines, just all hazy lines. Got a little blue in there again. A little more blue. There we go. A little more blue. So, how you doing? I have a fond memory of going to the Smoky Mountains when my son was little. We had gone camping, and we were going to the mountains, and in his young mind, he was very young at that time, so maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7, maybe more like 7, I think. And he was asking me if we'd be able to touch the clouds. And like an idiot, I said yes, because I was an idiot. And I thought, well, why would you say no to that question, even though you know you're not going to really be able to touch the clouds? And there was a mountain there that we went up within the car, of course. And we got to the top of the mountain, and sure enough, there was a cloud clinging to the top of the mountain. And I said, stick your hand out the window. That's a cloud. And absolutely, it was a moment where God made a little boy's request come true and made his daddy look like he's telling the truth. And I really didn't like saying a lie, but it turned out I wasn't lying. And it's just one of those things that I remember very fondly. All right, so now there's kind of the little bit of a rolling hill. Putting it in there, letting it kind of blend in with the background. I'm gonna keep that like that. And let it dry a little bit. And while it's drying, I'm going to add some green. If I have green, this is kind of a brown. Let me add some green to that. Just add some to this bottom part here. We're going to create a very loose image of a forest. There's a couple of different shades of green. Just to kind of get this part of the paper with some color on it. And kind of mix the colors. Get the water on there. Let the water soak into the paper. That's part of it too, is you have to, the paper isn't always really super absorbent. You have to kind of work it. And I know sometimes I will take a sponge and literally soak the paper with the sponge and then dry it later on. But right now I just want to get a few areas here while the rest of it is drying. Okay, now we have a very super loose rendering of the landscape that we're looking for. Let's see if I can throw in some little hints of trees here. Just little hints of them. Just kind of use the brush to give the hint that we see some trees poking over the top of these. The distant mountain. There we go. See, these are wet, and so they will kind of fade into the water a little bit hazy. That's what we want, a little bit hazy. It's one of the cool things with watercolors. You can let the water do a lot of the work. Just gotta let it do its thing. Let the water kind of do its thing. And you can see we're already starting to get that look of a wooded area. Throw a little bit of green in there. Keep it very, very hazy kind of a look. we go. There we go. Keeping some of these yellows and greens in the foreground here. Now this part is just almost dry enough to start adding the foreground trees, which is what I want to do. But in the meantime, let me just add some darks in here where these trees are coming closer. We're getting closer to the trees here. Still foggy. Still foggy. It's got this foggy look right here. So keep some of the greens in there. Yeah, I like this kind of using this kind of way to use watercolor. Keep it wet and see slowly it's drying and slowly it's starting to have that dry brush look, which I kind of like too. I'm gonna add a little bit more water here, I think. There we go. Alright, starting to see that happening here. Some of this yellow ochre here. Then we can add the darks in just a little bit. So you see how it has that layered look because we're using different colors, slightly different colors. You see all these trees. Now let's get some of these very close foreground trees. Just paint them in there. Making sure that the sky in the background is showing through too. Go ahead and add some green to that. And just keep working it until it has the look that we want. Let's not forget to keep adding green to that so that it has that foreground look. There we go. Just keep adding the dark green and the very, very dark gray. And I think we have pretty much the composition now. Down you can see that background stuff is kind of in the haze, like the Smoky Mountains would be. More of these foreground trees here, the darker ones close to the viewer. So I promised you this would be a simple one. I hope you agree that it's simple. It truly is. It's maybe quick. I don't know if it's quick or not, but it's relatively simple. And you see I did the whole thing with this flat brush here. This one. And if I just keep adding a little bit more green, I think we'll have that look that we want. Let some of this yellow come through. There we go. Put one tree there. And there we go. We have the Smoky Mountains of North Carolina. Nice little card. And it's a gift for somebody who loves the Smoky Mountains in the North Carolina area. There we go. You can sort of still see that mountain in the background. And that's the whole thing. So when it dries, I'll fold it and we'll have our greeting card. There we go. Simple watercolor. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it was short. I think some of the ones I've done recently have been way too long. So this kind of makes up for some of them. All right. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I'll be doing... If you ever have a request for something, I'll give it a shot. We're learning together. All right, thank you. Bye.